Chosen one, stop, do not move. Listen closely to the tone of my voice. While the world was sleeping, a specific court session was held in heaven concerning your name. The enemy stood before the throne and presented evidence of your past failures, trying to extend your season of suffering for another 3 years. But I am here to announce, he was overruled. That pressure you have felt in your spirit for the last 48 hours, that anxiety keeping you awake at 3 a.m., that was not an attack. That was the spiritual shockwave of a massive decision being made in your favor. The gavel has fallen, the waiting room is officially closed, and the verdict that God just signed is not just about relief. It is a decree of immediate acceleration that is going to terrify your enemies. Right now, in the privacy of your own mind, I want you to visualize a heavy iron door slamming shut on your past. Hear the loud boom as it closes. Now, imagine turning a massive key and locking it. Lock it. Because where we are going in this video, you cannot take your old fears with you. This message found you for a reason. You did not click this by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here. Your pain did not bring you here. The God who numbers the hairs on your head orchestrated this exact moment because he knew you were sitting on the edge of your bed, asking him how much longer you have to endure. He knew you were about to give up. This is his answer. I need you to stay with me until the very last second of this transmission. Do not skip ahead. Do not leave early, because I'm about to open the scroll and reveal the 3 specific clauses of the verdict that was just passed in your favor. We are going to uncover the divine stay order that has been holding you back. We will decode the Hebrew secret of Shalom that guarantees double restitution for your lost years, and at the end, we will perform a sealing activation that legally binds this acceleration to your bloodline. If you leave before the seal is set, you risk leaving the courtroom before your freedom papers are signed. So, settle in. This is the briefing that changes everything. Let us be honest about where you are right now. You feel like you are in a spiritual holding cell. You look around and see everyone else moving forward. People less qualified than you are getting promoted. People with less integrity than you are getting the breakthroughs. And you are stuck. You open your email, refreshing it 5 times a day, hoping for good news, but it remains empty. You check your phone, waiting for that one call that could change your situation, but the silence is deafening. You have done the work. You have prayed the prayers. You have sown the seeds, but it feels like your life has been paused. You have started to wonder if you have done something wrong. A voice in your head whispers that maybe God has forgotten you. Or worse, maybe God is punishing you. You feel like a defendant waiting for a sentence that never comes. But I need you to understand something crucial. This delay is not because you are lazy. It is not because you are unloved. And it is certainly not because God is ignoring you. The reason your life feels like it is under review is because there is literally a prosecutor building a case against you in the unseen realm. The Bible reveals this dynamic clearly in Revelation chapter 12, verse 10. It calls the enemy the accuser of the brethren, who accuses them before our God day and night. Notice it does not say he attacks them day and night. It says he accuses them. This is legal terminology. The enemy is not just trying to scare you, he is trying to legally disqualify you. He is standing in the courts of heaven right now, pointing at your past mistakes, pointing at your bloodline, pointing at your moments of doubt. And he is saying to God, look at them. They are weak. They are broken. They are not fit for the blessing you prepared. They deserve to stay in the wilderness. That is why you feel this heaviness. It is not depression. It is the weight of a spiritual court case. It is the pressure of the accuser trying to extend your sentence. You might be thinking, if the enemy is accusing me, why is God silent? Is he agreeing with the prosecution? Is he looking at my file and nodding his head, thinking that maybe I really am not good enough? No. That is the lie that has kept you trapped in shame for too long. God is not silent because he agrees with the enemy. He is silent because he is the judge, and he has been waiting for the perfect moment to present the evidence that clears your name once and for all. And the shocking truth is, you are holding that evidence in your hands right now without even knowing it. That evidence is your fear itself, specifically the terror you feel that you might have missed your destiny. Let us go deep for a moment. I know the dark thoughts that haunt you when the lights go out. You look back at the last few years and you do not see a saint. You see a mess. You see the days you were too depressed to pray. You see the times you reacted in anger and damaged a relationship. You see the opportunities you were too afraid to take. And the accuser takes those memories, plays them on a loop in your mind, and whispers, "You blew it. You had a calling, but you disqualified yourself. God moved on to someone else because you were too broken." You believe these thoughts because they feel true. You look at your current stagnation as proof that God has put you on the shelf. But listen to me. The wicked do not worry about missing God's will. The arrogant do not lose sleep over whether they are pleasing the Father. The fact that you are tormented by the fear of being disqualified is the absolute proof that your heart is still tender toward God. That fear is the evidence that you are still His. But here is where you get trapped. Because you feel this guilt, and because you feel this distance, you try to fix it with the wrong tool. You tell yourself, "I just need to be more patient." This is the trap I need to pull you out of right now. You have convinced yourself that this endless waiting season is a test of your patience. You wake up every day, grit your teeth, and say, "I will just hold on a little longer. I will just suffer a little more quiet. Maybe if I show God I can take this pain without complaining, He will finally bless me." You are treating this spiritual attack like an endurance test. You are trying to outlast a legal accusation by being nice. But let me tell you something that will liberate your spirit. You cannot use patience to fight a lawsuit. If you go to a physical court and a prosecutor accuses you of a crime, you do not sit there and smile and wait patiently for him to finish. You need a verdict. Stop trying to be patient with a demonic delay. Stop trying to endure a season that was meant to end 3 years ago. This is not about your behavior. This is about your legal standing in the Spirit. The Apostle Paul understood this dynamic perfectly. In Romans chapter 8, verse 33, he asks the ultimate legal question, "Who shall bring a charge against God's elect? It is God who justifies." Most people read that word justifies and think it just means forgiven, but we need to go deeper. The Greek word used there is dikaiou. It is not a religious feeling, it is a judicial term. It literally means to render a favorable verdict, to declare a person not liable, to acquit. When God justifies you, He is not just patting you on the head and saying, "I forgive you." He is banging the gavel and announcing to every demon in hell, "Case dismissed. The charges are dropped. The defendant is cleared." So, right now, I want you to perform a mental act of agreement with this verdict. I want you to imagine you are standing in a courtroom. On one side is the enemy, holding a stack of papers listing every mistake you have ever made. He looks confident. But then, look at the judge's seat. God is not looking at the papers. He is looking at you. In your mind, see Him take a massive stamp with the word justified on it and slam it down on your file. Hear the sound of that stamp hitting the paper. Bam! That sound is the end of your guilt. That sound is the end of the enemy's right to touch your finances. That sound is the end of the delay. You do not need to wait another second to be worthy. The verdict has been rendered. But listen to me, because this is where the shift happens. Now that your record is clean, the proceedings are changing. God did not just call you into his courtroom to tell you that you are innocent. He called you here because now that the accusation is silenced, he is about to hand you something. He is reaching for a scroll on his desk. It is not a sentence for your past. It is a decree for your future. And the specific words written on this scroll are the key to paying you back for every single tear you cried while you were waiting. That scroll contains one single word that defines your entire next season. Are you ready to hear it? The word is acceleration. God has issued a decree to override every delay in your life. The verdict is not just movement, it is speed. It is supernatural velocity. What you thought would take you 10 years to build is about to happen in a fraction of that time. The doors that have been rusted shut are not just going to unlock, they are going to be blown off the hinges. I need you to feel the weight of this word. Acceleration is not comfortable. It feels like G-force. When a pilot pushes the throttle to maximum, he is pinned back in his seat. It feels heavy. It feels intense. And that is exactly what you are feeling right now. That pressure in your spirit is not the enemy pressing you down. It is the momentum of God launching you forward. You are moving from 0 to 100 in the spirit, and your soul is trying to catch up with where your spirit is already going. But this brings us to the question that has been haunting you. If God wanted to accelerate me, why did he make me wait so long? Why did I have to endure the silence? Why did I have to watch everyone else pass me by while I stood still? To understand this, I am going to give you a framework that will change how you see your past forever. It is called the Divine Stay Order. In the legal world, a stay order is issued by a judge to stop all proceedings. It freezes everything. You cannot move forward. You cannot move backward. You are just stuck. For the last season, God placed a divine stay order on your life. This is the part you missed. He did not stop you because you were disqualified. He stopped you because you were dangerous. Think about a rocket ship sitting on the launch pad. Before it launches, there are massive hold-down clamps locking it to the ground. The engines ignite. Smoke is billowing. The power is building. The ground is shaking. But the rocket does not move. Why? Because if that rocket takes off before maximum thrust is achieved, it will crash and burn. The clamps are not there to punish the rocket. They are there to protect the mission. You have been in the hold-down phase. That frustration you felt, that was your engine building thrust against the clamps. That burning desire to do something, to be someone, but having nowhere to go. That was power accumulating. The divine stay order was God's way of saying, I cannot let you launch yet. Your character is not yet rated for the altitude I am taking you to. If I let you go now, the success will destroy you. So he held you down. He let you feel the frustration. He let you cry out. Because while you were straining against the clamps, your internal capacity was expanding. You were building the structural integrity needed to survive the acceleration that is happening right now. Now, I want you to perform a mental act to realign your perspective with this truth. You do not need to close your eyes, but I want you to shift your focus inward. Think about that one specific door that slammed in your face recently. The job you didn't get. The relationship that ended abruptly. The loan that was denied. You have been looking at that closed door as a rejection. Right now, in your mind, I want you to walk up to that door. Look closely at the lock. It does not say rejected, it says protected. It was a safety lock. God kept that door shut because if you had walked through it with your old level of power, you would have settled for a life that was too small for you. See yourself nodding at that door, thanking God for closing it. Thank Him for the stay order, because now you are realizing that the delay was not a denial, it was preparation for a launch. And this brings us to the application. How do you know the stay order has been lifted? How do you know that this is the moment of release? We find the answer in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." This verse is often quoted, but we miss the tension in it. It says, "though it tarry," meaning it seems to be late, it seems to drag on. That is the stay order, that is the hold down phase. But then it says, "it will surely come." The Hebrew word for appointed time here is moed. It means a fixed season, a divine appointment on the calendar that cannot be moved. You have hit your moed. Here are the signs that the stay order is lifted and acceleration has begun. First, you feel a restlessness that you cannot shake. It is not anxiety, it is anticipation. It is the feeling of the clamps releasing. Second, you are seeing sudden, unusual movement in areas that have been dead for years. A random phone call, an unexpected idea, a connection from out of nowhere. These are the sparks of the engine igniting. Third, and this is the most important one, you have stopped seeking validation from people. During the delay, you wanted people to understand you. Now, you do not care if they understand. You are so focused on the mission that you do not have time to explain yourself to spectators. If you recognize these signs, I want you to make a declaration in the comments right now. Do not just think it, type it out to seal it. Type, "I am ready for liftoff." This is your signal to the spiritual realm that you accept the end of the delay and you embrace the G-force of the new season. But listen to me closely, chosen one. Speed is dangerous if you do not know the destination. Acceleration is just the vehicle. It is just the method of delivery. But what exactly is being delivered? It is one thing to go fast. It is another thing to go fast towards a blessing that is actually worth having. You might be thinking, I just want my money back. I just want my time back. I just want to be where I would have been if I hadn't lost those 5 years. But God is looking at you and saying, you are thinking too small. If I just gave you back what you lost, that would be basic restoration. That would be breaking even. I am not a break-even God. I am a God of overflow. There is an ancient word in the Hebrew language that describes exactly what is coming to you. It is deeper than restoration. It is more powerful than healing. It is a legal term that forces the enemy to pay you back not just what he stole, but to pay you interest on your suffering. This word is the secret to why your next 10 months will produce more fruit than your last 10 years combined. That word is shalom. H-A-L-A-M. You have probably heard the word shalom, meaning peace. But shalom is the root of shalom, and it implies something far more aggressive and far more profitable than just feeling peaceful. Most chosen ones spend their entire lives praying for restoration. You have been crying out, God, please give me back the years I lost. God, please return the money I lost. God, please fix the relationship that broke. You are asking to be brought back to the starting line. You are asking to break even. But I am here to tell you that restoration is too small for what God is doing. If a thief steals your car and drives it for 5 years, and then the court orders him to simply return the car to you, that is restoration. But that is not justice. You have a beat-up car, 5 years of mileage you did not use, and you are still 5 years behind. That is not a blessing, that is an insult. God does not operate like that. The verdict of acceleration is not based on restoration, it is based on restitution. In the laws of the kingdom, when a thief is caught, he does not just pay back what he stole. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 31 says that if the thief is found, he must restore sevenfold. He has to give up all the substance of his house. The word shalom literally means to make whole, but it is used in the context of paying a debt of injury. It means that the person who caused the damage must pay for the object, plus the loss of use, plus the distress caused. So, when God says in Joel chapter 2, verse 25, "I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten," the English translation completely fails to capture the power of what he is saying. The Hebrew text is using the concept of shalom. God is saying, I am not just going to give you back the years, I am going to calculate the interest on those years. I am going to calculate what you would have achieved if the enemy had not attacked you. I am going to calculate the compounded growth you missed out on while you were stuck in the waiting room, and I am going to force the enemy to pay it all out in a lump sum. This changes everything. You have been looking at your lost decade as a tragedy, but under the law of Shalom, that lost decade was an investment account accruing massive interest. You are not 10 years behind. You are about to receive a 10-year payout in a single season. I need you to do a mental calculation with me right now. This is a mental act of claiming your check. In your mind, I want you to visualize a ledger. On the left side, list everything the enemy stole from you. The job, the marriage, the peace of mind, the confidence. See the red ink. See the deficit. It looks overwhelming. Now, in your imagination, I want you to take a golden pen and draw a line through that debt. And next to it, I want you to write the word paid in full. But do not stop there. Underneath it, I want you to visualize a new number. A number that is 7 times larger than what you lost. See it clearly. If you lost 1,000, see 7,000. If you lost a year, see 7 years of harvest dumping into your lap in 1 month. This is not fantasy. This is legal, spiritual accounting. By visualizing this, you are agreeing with the court's decision to enforce Shalom. You are signing for the package. This brings us to the most mind-blowing part of the verdict. How can God give you back time? Money is easy, health is easy, but time is gone. You cannot be 20 years old again. You cannot go back to 2015 and undo the mistake. This is where the acceleration decree defies the laws of physics. God is not going to turn back the clock. He is going to compress the timeline. This is the mathematics of time compression. Imagine you have to download a massive file. On a slow internet connection, it takes 10 hours. That was your old season. You were operating on human effort, which is like a dial-up connection. But God has just upgraded your bandwidth to fiber optic speed. Time compression means that the production that normally takes 10 years will be downloaded into your life in 10 months. The relational depth that normally takes 5 years to build will happen in 5 weeks. The financial freedom that normally takes a lifetime of saving will manifest in one sudden windfall. God is collapsing the timeline. He is folding time over on itself. This is why you feel that vertigo I mentioned earlier. Your spirit is sensing that you are moving faster than the calendar days are passing. Look at the pattern in Scripture. It took Joseph 13 years of slavery and prison to get prepared. but it only took him 1 single hour to go from a prisoner to the Prime Minister of Egypt. 1 hour. That is time compression. It took David years of running from Saul, hiding in caves, eating scraps, but in one day the crown was placed on his head. That is time compression. It took the disciples all night to catch 0 fish. They toiled, they sweated, they wasted hours. But one word from Jesus, and in 5 minutes they caught more fish than they had caught in their entire careers combined. That is shalom. That is time compression. God compresses the harvest to make up for the delay. The delay was long, so the harvest must be heavy. The wait was painful, so the payout must be quick. You need to stop planning your life based on your old speed. You are looking at your future and thinking, well, if I work hard for another 5 years, maybe I will get back on my feet. Stop it. You are calculating with the wrong formula. You are calculating restoration. God is calculating shalom. The verdict has shifted the math. You are not working for a wage anymore. You are receiving a settlement. I know what the shadow voice in your head is saying right now. It is saying, that sounds too good to be true. That sounds like a fairy tale. How can this happen for me when I am drowning in debt? How can this happen when I have no connections, no resources, and no way out? You are looking at your circumstances, and they look impossible. You are thinking this message is for someone else, someone who is already halfway there, not for you in your pit. But what if I told you that the depth of your pit is actually the indicator of the height of your acceleration? Let me tell you about someone who was in a situation far worse than yours. They had lost more than just money. They had lost their reputation, their family, and their hope. They were 72 hours away from ending it all. But then Shalom found them, and what happened in the next 3 days defies every rule of logic and reality. Let me tell you about a chosen one who was watching a message just like this one only 9 months ago. We will call him Michael. Michael was not just broke, he was broken. He had lost his business during the crisis. His debts were 3 times his annual income, and he was holding an eviction notice in his hand. He told me later that he was sitting in his car in a parking lot, staring at that piece of paper, shaking. He had done everything right. He had prayed, he had tithed, and yet he was about to lose the roof over his head. He felt like the verdict had gone against him. But then he heard about the concept of shalom. He heard about the verdict of acceleration, and instead of looking at his debt, he performed the exact mental act I just walked you through. He visualized the paid in full stamp. He refused to agree with the eviction notice. 3 days later, he received a phone call from a former business partner he had not spoken to in 7 years. This partner had just uncovered an old contract dispute that involved Michael's previous company. A court had ruled in their favor, and a settlement had been sitting in an escrow account, accruing interest for 5 years. They had been trying to locate him. The amount was not just enough to pay the rent. It was enough to clear every cent of debt and put a down payment on a new property. Within 3 months, Michael went from holding an eviction notice to holding the cold, heavy brass keys to his own home. He stood in his new living room, listening to the silence, no creditors calling, no fear, just the overwhelming peace of shalom. This was not luck. This was not a lottery win. This was restitution. This was God collapsing 5 years of financial recovery into 3 months of supernatural acceleration. And if he did it for Michael, he is legally obligated to do it for you. Because God is no respecter of persons. He is a respecter of faith. But I need to pause here, because if I just leave you with the happy ending, I am setting you up to fail. There is a dangerous side effect to acceleration that nobody talks about. When you go from 0 to 100 miles per hour in 3 seconds, your body reacts. You get dizzy. You get disoriented. In the spiritual realm, we call this the vertigo effect. For the last few years, you have been driving at 5 miles per hour. It was painful, but it was stable. You knew who you were in the struggle. You knew how to survive the desert. But when God suddenly launches you into the palace, everything changes too fast. The landscape blurs, the pressure increases. And this is exactly when the enemy changes his strategy. Listen closely. For years, the enemy has used a strategy of blockade. He tried to stop you, but now that the verdict is signed, he knows he cannot stop you. The door is open. So he switches to a strategy of distraction. He tries to make you crash the car because you are not used to the speed. You are about to face 3 specific forms of attacks in the next 40 days. These are not random. They are calculated to exploit your vertigo. The first form of attack is the nostalgia trap. This is when the enemy makes you miss your misery. It sounds insane, but when the pressure of the new level hits you, you will have a sudden urge to go back to what was familiar. You will find yourself thinking, at least when I was broke, I didn't have this much responsibility. At least when I was alone, I didn't have to deal with these complex people. The Bible warns us to remember Lot's wife. She was being rescued from destruction. She was being accelerated towards safety. But she looked back. She missed the familiar toxic environment more than she trusted the unknown future. Do not look back. The wilderness feels safe only because it is predictable, but it is a grave. The second form of attack is the imposter whisper. This will hit you the moment you step into the room you prayed for. You will be sitting in the boardroom or standing in the new relationship, and a voice will scream in your ear, "You are a fraud. They are going to find out you don't belong here. You are not smart enough for this." This is the enemy trying to use your old identity to sabotage your new reality. He wants you to self-destruct so you can go back to where you feel you belong. Recognize it. That voice is a liar. You are not an imposter. You are an ambassador who has finally arrived at your post. The third form of attack is the fake shortcut. Because you are in a season of speed, the enemy will send you opportunities that look like acceleration but are actually traps. He will send a business deal that promises quick money but requires you to compromise your integrity. He will send a person who moves very fast in a relationship but refuses to respect your boundaries. Here is how you tell the difference. God's acceleration brings peace with the speed. The enemy's shortcut brings panic with the speed. If you feel rushed, pushed, or anxious to make a decision right now or you lose it, that is a fake shortcut. God leads, the enemy drives. Surviving these 3 attacks is the first step to staying on the road. But there is a fourth trap, a hidden internal mechanism that has destroyed more chosen ones than all the other attacks combined. It happens quietly, right after you receive the blessing, and if you do not have a specific spiritual anchor to hold you down, the very speed that God gave you will tear you apart. That internal mechanism is what I call the character gap. It is the distance between how blessed you look on the outside and how anchored you are on the inside. If the blessing grows faster than the root system, the tree does not just stop growing, it topples over. Let me tell you a cautionary tale about a chosen one we will call Sarah. Sarah had prayed for years for a platform to share her voice. She felt ignored and invisible. Then, the verdict of acceleration hit her life. A video she posted went viral overnight. Publishers started calling. In 6 weeks, she went from a nobody to a somebody. She got exactly what she prayed for. But Sarah did not have an anchor. As the external demands skyrocketed, her internal quiet time vanished. She was so busy managing the blessing that she stopped talking to the blesser. She stopped doing the secret work in the dark. 6 months later, Sarah was sitting in her car after a major public appearance. Everyone had applauded her. She was holding a check for more money than she used to make in a year. But she told me that in that moment, she gripping the steering wheel and weeping uncontrollably because she felt completely hollow. The pressure had cracked her foundation. She ended up sabotaging her own success just to make the pressure stop. She crashed the car because she did not know how to drive at that speed. I do not want that to be your story. God does not want to give you a blessing that destroys you. To survive the G-force of the acceleration that is coming, you must install a spiritual system I call the Steward's Anchor. This framework consists of 3 non-negotiable habits that you must start today. Do not wait for the money to arrive. Do not wait for the ring. You must build the anchor before the storm of blessing hits. The first component is daily grounding. This is not just praying when you have time. This is a deliberate recalibration of your identity every single morning before you touch your phone. When you wake up, before you check the email, before you look at the notifications, you must anchor your spirit. You need to remind yourself that you are a servant first and a king second. The second component is the circle of silence. We talked about this before, but now it is critical. When the acceleration starts, your instinct will be to broadcast every win. Do not do it. Most people cannot handle the speed of your harvest. If you share your big wins with small minds, their jealousy will act as a spiritual drag on your momentum. Keep your circle tight. Only share the fruit with those who helped you plant the seeds. The third component is aggressive humility. This does not mean thinking less of yourself. It means actively bowing low when God lifts you high. The higher God takes you, the lower you must go in your secret place. If God gives you $1 million, your knees should hit the floor faster than they did when you had $10. You must aggressively attribute every success to Him, or your ego will try to take the credit and crush you under its weight. I want you to perform a mental act of anchoring right now. Imagine a massive ship in the middle of a turbulent ocean. The waves are high, the wind is screaming. That ship is your life during acceleration. Now, visualize a massive, heavy chain dropping from the bow of the ship, plunging deep into the dark water, all the way down to the bedrock of the ocean floor. Hear the clank of the chain as it locks onto the rock. Feel the ship stabilize. The storm is still raging, the speed is still fast, but the ship is steady. That rock is your character. That chain is your discipline. By visualizing this, you are telling your spirit that you are ready to carry the weight of glory. This stability is not just a good idea, it is a biblical requirement for the season you are entering. The prophet Amos saw this day coming. In Amos chapter 9, verse 13, he describes a season so accelerated that the plowman shall overtake the reaper. Think about that image. Usually, you plow the ground, you wait months, and then you reap the harvest. But God is saying the acceleration will be so fast that while you are still gathering the harvest from the last blessing, the plowman is already coming to plant the next one. The cycles of blessing are crashing into each other. It is a pile-up of goodness. This sounds amazing, but it is also chaotic. Without stability, a pile-up becomes a wreck. That is why Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6 gives us the secret to survival. It says, "Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times." Stability is the prerequisite for the increase. God is checking your anchor chain right now. He is testing your stability. He is asking, can I trust you with speed? Can I trust you to stay humble when everyone knows your name? Can I trust you to keep praying when you no longer need to pray for rent money? You have the verdict. You have the acceleration. You have the anchor to keep you safe. You are legally cleared, supernaturally launched, and spiritually stabilized. But there is one final question that is probably still burning in the back of your mind. Out of all the people on earth, out of all the billions of souls, why you? Why did the court of heaven convene for your specific case? Why did the enemy fight so hard to stop your specific bloodline? You might think it is just because God loves you, and He does. But this is deeper than love. This is about lineage. There is a secret in your DNA, a generational mystery that explains exactly why you were the one chosen for this mission impossible. That mystery is simply this: you are a cycle breaker. Look at your family tree. Look at the patterns that have plagued your bloodline for generations. Maybe it is addiction. Maybe it is divorce. Maybe it is a spirit of poverty that hovers over every household like a dark cloud. Maybe it is mental illness or premature death. For generations, the enemy has had legal ground to torment your family. Your ancestors may have opened doors they did not know how to close. They may have made agreements with defeat. And for decades, the enemy has marched through your lineage, claiming territory, unchallenged and unchecked, until you. God looked down the timeline of your family and He saw a lot of victims, but He was looking for a warrior. He was looking for a vessel strong enough to absorb the toxicity of the past and transmute it into power. He was looking for someone with a DNA of resilience so high that they could survive the crushing weight of breaking a generational curse. And He found you. That is why your life has been so hard. That is why you have felt attacked since you were a child. That is why you never fit in with your own family. You thought you were the black sheep. You thought you were the outcast. But heaven sees you as the white blood cell. You were sent into a sick bloodline to fight the infection. The resistance you have faced is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is a sign that you are the first one in history to do something right. You are the dam that stops the river of trauma from flowing to the next generation. So when you ask, "Why me?" God answers, "Because you are the only one strong enough to survive the surgery. I chose you because I knew that if I put you in the fire, you would not burn up. You would turn into gold." And this brings us to the purpose of the acceleration. God is not just giving you a financial breakthrough so you can buy a nicer car. He is not just restoring your relationships so you can be happy. That is too small. God is funding your mission. The shalom, the double restitution, the sudden open doors, they are all resources for the assignment. God is raising you up to be a Joseph for your bloodline. He is putting you in the palace so that when the famine comes, you have the resources to save the very people who rejected you. You are being commissioned. A commission is a military authorization. It means you are being given the rank, the power, and the provision to execute the King's will on earth. You are moving from being a survivor of the wilderness to being a general of the promised land. The verdict of acceleration is your badge of office. It is God saying, "I am clearing the runway because this jet is carrying cargo that the world desperately needs. So, get ready." We are about to enter the final phase of this session. We are about to go back into the courtroom of heaven one last time. But this time, we are not going in to argue a case. We are going in to hear the final reading of the decree and to seal it with a prophetic act. This is the most critical moment of this entire message. Everything we have talked about, the divine stay order, the shalom, the anchor, It all culminates in this activation. I need you to shift your posture right now. If you are in a place where you can safely do so, I want you to physically stand up. There is a spiritual authority that comes when you stand on your 2 feet. It signals to your body and to the cloud of witnesses that you are ready to receive orders. If you are driving, or if you cannot stand, I want you to sit up straight, adjust your spine, lift your chin, and, in your imagination, I want you to see your spirit man standing up tall inside of your physical body. See yourself rising from the chair of victimhood. See yourself standing at attention before the throne of grace. Place your hand over your heart. Can you feel that beat? That is the rhythm of a survivor. That is the drumbeat of a warrior who refused to quit. Close your eyes to the room around you and open your eyes to the spirit. The atmosphere is shifting. The angels are taking their positions. The cloud of witnesses is leaning over the balcony of heaven. The judge is standing up. The sound of the gavel has faded into a holy silence. He is holding the scroll of your destiny in his hand. The ink is dry. The decision is final. We are about to seal this verdict. We are about to lock this timeline into place so that no devil, no hater, and no mistake can reverse it. This is the moment where the supernatural overlays the natural. This is the moment where the word becomes flesh. Do not click away. Do not let your mind wander. Do not let a notification distract you. We are crossing the threshold together. Stay standing. Stay focused. The decree is about to be read. We have arrived at the threshold. Everything we have discussed, the celestial court case, the verdict of acceleration, the law of Shalom, has led us to this specific moment. Do not treat this as just the end of a video. Treat this as the end of an era. You are standing on the borderline between the season of waiting and the season of speed. Once we cross this line, you cannot go back. You cannot carry the luggage of a victim into the palace of a king. So, before we seal the new verdict, we must surgically remove the old agreements. We are going to perform a spiritual purge. We are going to clear the runway of your soul so that the acceleration does not crash into the debris of your past. If you can, I want you to physically shift your position. If you are sitting, sit up straighter. Uncross your legs. Uncross your arms. Open your posture. You are signaling to the spiritual realm that you are no longer defensive. You are ready to release. Take a deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs with the new atmosphere of permission. And as you exhale, I want you to visualize gray smoke leaving your body. That smoke is the residue of disappointment. It is the dust of the waiting room. Let it go. We begin by breaking the most dangerous agreement of all, the agreement with your own pain. Listen to me, chosen one. You have been in the struggle for so long that a part of you has fallen in love with it. You have identified as the survivor for so long that you are afraid to be the success. You are addicted to the adrenaline of the battle. But today, we are breaking that addiction. I want you to repeat these words in your spirit, or whisper them if you are alone. Say this: I divorce my history of struggle. I renounce the identity of the victim. I am not what happened to me. I am what God decided about me. Feel that weight lifting. That is the sound of chains breaking. Now, we must address the specific entities that have held you down. We are going into the courts to cancel the old contracts. First, we confront the spirit of delay. This is the entity that has made every 3-day journey take 40 years. It is the invisible wall that stops you right before the finish line. In the name of the Most High, I address the spirit of delay assigned to your bloodline. I declare that your legal right to operate in this life is hereby revoked. The divine stay order has been lifted by the Supreme Judge. You have no authority to hold back this vessel any longer. I command you to loose your grip on their time, loose your grip on their mind, and loose your grip on their resources. We declare that the days of almost and not yet are burned by fire. Next, we confront the word curses spoken over you. Think about the people who told you that you would never make it. Think about the teachers, the family members, or the false friends who labeled you as slow, broken, or too much. Those words have been acting like invisible anchors. I want you to visualize those words written on sticky notes stuck all over your spirit. Now, in your mind, see the fire of the Holy Spirit burning them off. Watch them turn to ash. I declare that every negative word spoken over your destiny is now null and void. It is erased from the record. Their opinions are not your verdict. Their doubt is not your destiny. We silence the voice of the critic and we amplify the voice of the Creator. Finally, we confront the generational stagnation, the pattern that says, nobody in this family rises above this level. The glass ceiling that stopped your father and your grandfather. We take the hammer of the word and we smash that glass ceiling right now. Shatter it in your mind. Hear the glass breaking. You are the cycle breaker. You are the anomaly. Where they stopped is where you start. I declare that the limitations of your DNA are overridden by the potential of your spirit. You are now standing in a cleared space. The debris is gone. The old contracts are torn up. The atmosphere around you is clean. It is empty. But it is not going to stay empty for long. You are now a sanctified vessel, ready to hold the high voltage power of acceleration. You have made room for the Shalom. Stay in this posture of openness. Do not move. We are about to invite the King to enter this cleared space and install the new operating system of your life. The purge is complete. The coronation is about to begin. The runway is clear. The atmosphere is primed. Now we execute the divine download. I call upon the ministering spirits, the angels of assignment who have been standing by, waiting for this legal clearance. I authorize them to begin the installation of the acceleration decree into your timeline. I speak to the north, the south, the east, and the west. I command the four winds of heaven to blow upon your life, not a wind of destruction, but a wind of propulsion. I seal the verdict of Shalom upon your forehead. I declare that from this moment forward, the math of your life is changed. You are no longer operating under the laws of addition and subtraction. You are operating under the law of multiplication. I command the thief to open his treasuries. I speak to every opportunity that was stolen from you in the last 10 years. I command them to return in a sevenfold form. I speak to the money that was held up release. I speak to the contracts that were delayed release. I speak to the connections that were blocked release. I declare that you will recover all, without fail, without struggle, and without sorrow. I seal the verdict of time compression upon your calendar. I declare Amos 9:13 over your schedule. The plowman shall overtake the reaper. I prophesy that you will accomplish in the next 40 days what you could not accomplish in the last 40 months. I command the doors to open automatically before you even reach for the handle. I command the red lights to turn green as you approach. I decree that you will be at the right place, at the right time, with the right people, saying the right things. The era of missed moments is over. You are now synchronized with the rhythm of heaven. But Lord, I also seal the steward's anchor upon their soul. Because you are trusting them with speed, I pray for the weight of glory to settle upon them. I bind the spirit of pride. I bind the spirit of arrogance. I impart to you the wisdom of a Solomon and the humility of a Moses. I declare that as you go up, your knees will go down. You will not be dizzy from the height. You will be steady on the rock. You will handle this blessing with hands that are clean and a heart that is pure. You will not crash. You will carry this cargo all the way to the destination. Now, I want you to perform the final act of the coronation. In your spirit, I want you to feel a mantle dropping onto your shoulders. It is heavy. It is warm. It is the mantle of the generation breaker. Feel it settle on you. Wear it. It fits you perfectly. You were born for this weight. I set the prophetic clock right now. I declare that within the next 72 hours, you will see a physical sign of this shift. A specific confirmation that the atmosphere has cracked open. Watch for it. Expect it. Chosen one. The court is dismissed. The verdict is signed. The enemy is overruled. The waiting room is demolished. The rocket has cleared the tower. You are free to fly. Go and shake the world. Go and take back what is yours. It is done. It is sealed. It is so.